Hello everyone, and welcome to a very enjoyable game between Garry Kasparov and the one and only Woody Harrelson. I don't know how many of you enjoy Woody Harrelson. If I see any movie is with Woody Harrelson, I will watch the movie. Even if the movie sucks, his acting will make it, bearable. So that being said, how did the two of them meet and how did this match even happen? Well, it was in 1999. Garry Kasparov was organizing a chess match between Alexei Shirov and Judith Polgar. And it was played in Prague, and one of the people in the audience was actually Woody Harrelson, and he decided to steal the show and show Kasparov that he is a natural born killer in chess as well. And they play the game. We even have a photo of this event. It's not the greatest quality photo, but there's Kasparov on the left and Woody Harrelson on the right. Harrelson with the white pieces, and it's a bit blurry, but I'm sure you can see that Harrelson has a queen on h4 on the board, which is very interesting. How the queen is already on h4 straight from the opening. Now, there is a twist to this game, but I will save that for the end of the video. So let's see the game. Woody Harrelson has the white pieces and Kasparov is black. We have e4, e5, and already on turn 2, on move 2, we have queen to h5. So Woody Harrelson is either attempting a fool's mate against Kasparov, or he has some ideas about going queen h5. And he's not... he's not a stranger to chess, as he did stop by to check out the match Shirov versus Polgar while returning from his movie festival in Karlsbad. Kasparov defends the pawn on e5, knight to c6, and here we have bishop to c4. So already Harrelson is threatening queen captures on f7 checkmate. And there are various ways you can prevent this. You can go g6, you can kick away the queen, you can go queen to e7, you can go queen to f6, a lot of ideas here. And this is one of the problems. As soon as you see someone play e4, queen h5, bishop to c4, you know he's a noob and you're gonna win this game as black. But there is a problem. You never actually gave yourself any time to analyze this at home, because you know that no one will play this if you play in a strong tournament or something. So you never really saw g6, queen to d1 as a viable option, and then where to go from here with black. You just know that, okay, if someone plays this with white, I'll just kick the queen away and then continue my game with black, and all the books say that this is bad for white, so I must be winning here. But after bishop to c4, Kasparov went queen to e7, which is also an excellent option. This stops checkmate, and white simply has a poorly placed queen on h5. Or does he? We have knight to f3. Developing the knight, and the knight to f6, attacking the queen, and now queen to h4. From h4, the queen is also guarding the pawn on e4, and now d6. We have d3, h6, and h3. So all standard moves. Bishop to e6, offering a trade of bishops, and knight to c3 by Harrelson. So going for that development. Bishop captures on c4, d captures on c4. He doesn't mind doubling up his c-pawns because he now has a firm grip on the d5 square. Knight to d4 by Kasparov, knight captures, pawn captures, and now what do you do with the knight? Your e4 pawn is attacked twice. Do you go knight b5, do you go knight e2, or do you go knight to d5? Tell the truth, how many of you would play knight to d5? Of course, if you do this, you immediately lose the game due to knight captures here. Now your queen is attacked, and you just lost a piece. So if you capture the knight, you lose the queen, and if you capture the queen, then knight captures queen, and you're down a piece. But, this happens to everyone at least once, so no shame. So after e captures on d4, knight to e2, now d4 pawn is under attack, but also Harrelson is attacking the d4 pawn. So before capturing here, first Kasparov defends the pawn with c5. We have f3, now defending d4 pawn, and d5. A nice little tactic that gets rid of the double d pawn Kasparov has. So c captures, and now knight captures. Knight captures here. And here we have queen captures on e7. Of course, you can't capture the knight because you lose the queen on h4. So queen captures, knight captures the queen back, and now bishop to d2. We have castles by Kasparov, castles by Harrelson, and g6. Kasparov is ready to develop his dark square bishop on g7. Knight to f4. and bishop to g7. So if you look at the position is pretty equal, the material is completely equal, and of course it doesn't mean that it's a drawn game. One player is Kasparov, the other is Woody Harrelson. I'm sure if they really had this position in a serious tournament over the board, Kasparov would of course win this game. But as it was an exhibition game, I don't think that too much thought was given to this game. c4, gaining an even firmer grip on the d5 square, preparing knight to d5. We have d captures on c3 en passant, bishop captures, and pawn captures. So removing even more material from the board. b6. We have c4 now. Knight comes to c6, preparing knight to d4. So now Harrelson does have a firm grip on the d5 square, but he also weakened the d4 square. So Kasparov takes advantage of this. We have king to b2. Rook to e8, now rook captures, exchanging a pair of rooks, and now knight finally does come to d5. h5 by Kasparov. We have a4, king to d7, and king to c3. King to e6, Kasparov activates his king. We have f4, not allowing the king to come anywhere near the position. Knight to d4 and rook to d1. So if you look at this position now, again, the material is completely equal. Kasparov does have a somewhat better pawn structure. He has 2 pawn islands, Harrelson has 3 pawn islands, but it's not at all simple to do anything about this. So in the game, knight to e2 was played, king to c2, and now knight back to d4. King to c3, and after Kasparov repeated knight to e2, the players agreed to a draw, as Woody Harrelson had to leave. I believe he had a plane to catch. But even if you don't force a draw here, for example, even if you continue with black, something like h4, then white can attempt to force a draw with knight c7 check, king e7, and then let's say knight back to d5 check. And if the king goes here or here, knight to c7 will be repeated. Your rook will come under attack from the rook on d1. And if you don't do this, if you decide to go something like king to d6, then you allow e5, white will slowly improve his position, and most likely it will still end up in a draw. So yeah, after this knight to e2 check, the players agree to a draw, and you know, this is quite an accomplishment. Such an accomplished actor, Woody Harrelson, and he can boast that in 1999 he drew world champion Garry Kasparov. But now comes the twist. Woody Harrelson did not play this game alone. It is known that he was aided by 2 grandmasters from the audience who were spectating this game. One of them was Grandmaster Yasser Serevan. So it's not familiar to what extent were they aiding him, or was this after e4, e5, queen to h5, was this move also suggested by Yasser or the other grandmaster? I don't think so. I think the first couple of moves were actually Woody Harrelson's moves, but it's not known to what extent they were aiding Woody Harrelson. And the Dutch grandmaster Hans Rey also said about this game that it doesn't matter that Woody Harrelson was aided by the 2 grandmasters. It also shows that queen h5 might not be such a bad idea for white. I mean, you know, feel free to play this. You know, if a grandmaster plays queen to h5 against you, you're not really gonna refute this and crush him with black. You know, as you've seen in this game, if white played you know, just one bad move, of course Kasparov would crush him, but he didn't, and so, you know, even though he had a plane to catch, they did draw this game, and no sides made any mistakes. So I guess a draw is pretty fair. So yeah. That's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. This isn't the only game Kasparov played against a celebrity. There are some other games, and I will also include this probably in my next couple of videos. But until then, there is a link in the description below where you can vote on my next series. So what will we do? Will it be something by Capablanca, Alechin, maybe something more modern by Bobby Fischer, or even latter? So there will be a link in the description. Be sure to check it out and give your vote. And yeah, for the end, we can check out this photo one more time. It's not of the greatest quality, but it's the only one we have. So yeah, I would like to thank Tony Mo at guitar, Mateusz Winnicki, and Kelsey Roberts for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully with another interesting game. Thank you all.